Hello and welcome to the LNG Just Covered podcast. We talk to advisors and key stakeholders about their views and opinions in the intermediary space. My name's Wayne.
And I'm Hazel, and today we are joined by Alex and Dave from Better Future Financial Planning. And we're really looking forward to speaking to them both about their journeys into industry, what they've learned, and most importantly about Alex is on an apprenticeship scheme currently. So it'll be great to learn more about that and how it's gone. So welcome both. Thank you for joining us.
Welcome.
I guess,
Thank you.
Dave, you set up Better Future. So tell us a little bit about that and that journey to start
Yeah,
with.
so we set up Better Future a year ago. I'd worked for a couple of advice firms before where things hadn't quite worked out in the way I'd hoped. So I took the plunge last year, set up Better Future. We went through a network, valid path. We considered going direct, but it's getting harder and harder to be directly authorised now as a brand new business. So we connected with valid path and been really happy with that decision.
Yeah, good. And you mentioned you'd worked in financial advice a little bit longer than that. How long have you actually been in the industry now?
So I've been advising for about 8 years, but I've been working in financial services for 25-ish, just over.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And Alex, you're fairly new into this industry, so tell us a bit about that and your journey.
Yeah, so I just joined back in December, so kind of nearing on 6 months, or just 6 months now. But before that, I was a student athlete in America. I played basketball. And yeah, we were talking a bit before we started recording just about kind of how much that really takes up your entire life, really. And just, yeah, how much time that can really take. And so for me, it was just kind of the last few years after. So a teammate had said to me, or started trying to like educate me on, financial freedom, and he said these words to me and started getting me reading some books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, The Psychology of Money. And the more I started reading about it, I was like really, really interested. And I just naturally started talking to my friends about it. And over the period of 2.5 years, I started having more and more people tell me, you should go into financial advice. And that's where I ended up doing.
And then 6 months in, you'd have your boss sat next to you. But are you pleased with that? Have you enjoyed it?
Yeah, I'm loving it. And it's awesome because with us being a relatively small business, I get first-hand experience right from the jump of seeing pretty much the day-to-day and the ins and outs of the business, which a lot of people in my position who are part of the same apprenticeship scheme that I'm on, they don't get that same exposure that I'm getting. So I'm in a really, really great position and I'm really thankful for it.
Yeah, I think you're a sort of living, breathing example of a better future.
Yeah.
Excuse the pun.
That's the idea. Well, that's where the name came from, yeah.
But you used it a few times. So just keen to take it back in terms of your experience in the industry then, Dave. So whereabouts did you start and where did the main experience come from?
Yeah, so I started in 1998 with a company called MPI, who have been swallowed up along the way, but with the squirrel logo, people of a certain age will remember them. And then I was there for a couple of years, and then I joined Friends Provident, moved to London. So I'm originally from the northwest of England in Southport, and then moved to London in 2000, joined Friends Provident, and then spent time with Viva as well in business development roles.
Excellent.
You've done a bit of both sides.
Yeah,
of the
I mean, that was good experience because it gave you exposure, particularly with Aviva, because I was a regional manager there. So we had exposure to a wide range of firms across the whole of the southeast. So it saw some really good stuff and could learn from that. But you also saw some things that you wouldn't want to do as well. So it was really helpful when I came to set up my own business.
Yeah, I suppose you've seen both sides of it, isn't it? Particularly when you go into your own business, the sort of workings of a big corporate and all that type of thing. Yeah. And then you can sort of take those learnings into when you're actually out advising and stuff.
Exactly.
And in terms of the apprenticeship scheme then, I know that when we spoke at an awards a few months ago, and that's what's kind of led us here today, you mentioned that it was something that you're really passionate about. So how did you, obviously your business is still fairly new and now you've taken an apprenticeship. Where has that growth come from and why has that apprenticeship scheme been really useful to you?
So I didn't, I hadn't any plans. We have an operations manager as well in our office who was there at the start of the business, Jason Horton. And that was going to be us, to be honest. Initially, that was the two of us, and we thought that was going to be the right fit for the first couple of years. And I wasn't particularly looking to take anyone on. And then I got approached by Alex in probably around about November 2024, and he got in touch on LinkedIn, and I found out since he'd been contacting lots of people. He probably might come to that in a moment. But he just sounded a really good fit. So I saw that he'd been to Missouri Baptist University, and just at my back of my head, I wondered whether he was a Christian like I am as well. So connected, we went for a coffee and we talked through, and really hit it off. Very similar values, both Christians, so and both similar ideas about how to run a business, how we wanted to run a business in the best interest of our clients. So when I first met Alex, I was thinking, what's the best way to do this? Is there a way I can make this work or not? And then I remembered that I'd sat in on a session with the CII probably about 5 or 6 years ago, where they talked about the apprentice scheme, and it wasn't relevant at that time for us where I was at the time, so I just sort of parked it at the back of my mind. But suddenly it popped back into my head, and I looked on the CII website and found that one of their partners was called Skills Edge. It's an independent company of the CII, but they work with them on the apprenticeship schemes. Looked them up, and they run a whole range of financial services apprenticeships, different roles, administrators, power planners, straight to advisors if people want to. And I got into the detail with them and found out it was a really good way to do it, because effectively they as long as they're a qualified apprenticeship scheme, they can claim most of the cost of the actual scheme back from the government. The government are supporting that and trying to get people, businesses to take on people with these apprenticeship schemes. So it's a really good way to do it.
And what a brilliant asset. I think there'd probably be lots of people, if they've not ever come across that won't know and maybe are getting approached by it, because it's not actually that often. We spoke about it in the last episode. It's not often we have people who proactively want to join our industry. Quite often people, we see the phrase all the time, they fall into it. We see that all the time. It's quite a cliche.
I can't believe we found Alex.
Yeah, but Alex, you're not in that mold. You're creating a new journey for people. Yeah. So I guess that's a lot of bravery. Did you have to send a lot of messages? How many did you send on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So I'll kind of give you a picture. So you mentioned a lot of people kind of don't actively pursue a career in this role. And I think me and Dave have spoken about this before. Initially, the plan was counseling. I got my degree in psychology. But then for me, it was, I went and did those, the skills training, or tried to do a full day skills training, did a 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. skills training, and I just immediately was just like, this isn't for me. I wanted to be able to have those same kind of outcomes, helping people work towards a better future. But I didn't want to just sit in the worst parts of people's lives. I wanted to help people work towards something that was exciting to them, something like a future that they saw for themselves and could measure and be able to, really work towards that. And with the interest in investments that I developed over that 2 years prior, I just kind of pieced together that, and then everyone's telling me like, go and be a financial advisor. And so for me, that's why I kind of ended up pursuing something in financial advice. And it took maybe 6 months of I probably messaged half of the profession. And most people, it was either no response, or it was, I'm sorry, we don't have the time, and we don't have the money, or both. And it's because most people don't know about this kind of apprenticeship setup with Skills Edge, and other sorts of bodies that are similar.
So some of our listeners might recognise your name then if they've started to look through their messages.
I found Dave on the Society of Later Life Advisors page, which a recruiter really helpfully pointed me in the direction of. I probably requested to connect with half of the SOLA qualified advisors in the country, and only one connected with me and then messaged me, and that was Dave.
Wow.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's a great example of the stars aligning in a way, is it? Because there's that cultural piece, the fact you're both Christians, all of that sort of, and you, Dave, weren't really looking for it, were you? But it was a real good fit for you, wasn't it?
It was. I mean, not at that stage, it must have been something I thought, came to a couple of years down the line. I didn't think we probably would grow beyond the two of us, but I wasn't looking right at that stage, and it just happened that, Alex just contacted me at the right time, and we found a way to do it. And going back to what I said earlier, one of the key advantages in what Alex referred to there is the time cost as well, because if you're just set up your own business and you're dealing with all the clients moving across, getting new client agreements with them and everything, then you haven't got the time to spare to train someone up. So it's really, really good that the apprenticeship, I can sort of outsource part of that. And then Alex, is working on his development, working on the exams, working on the soft skills side with Skills Edge. And then he shadows me, does some administration in the business and learns the ropes of the business about half the time. So it's roughly a 50-50 split for him.
And it shows his tenacity in his approach of contacting so many people. Yeah. I'm interested as well around the psychology side. And I can see why you've gone down the financial services approach, looking at the positives and all that type of thing. There must be a very, very good link, though, in that sort of theoretical training you've gone through, because there's a lot of things. We talk about sales skills, client interaction, relationships. There's a lot of that in financial services, and it's really, really important.
Yeah. No, for me that was definitely a big part of it, because I'm still to this day I'm fascinated with psychology. It's still something that's really, really interesting to me. But yeah, just how people think, what stresses them out, because that's really a big part of our job, right? Is to help alleviate a lot of that stress for our clients and help them, just feel like they are like more safe and secure in what they're working towards, and just be more comfortable in the plan, so they know what they're how they're going to feel in retirement, about how much they're spending, and just all sorts of things. And it is largely psychology before it is the actual technicals of tax or investments or anything. That's what we sell ourselves as, but that's not really where our real value is. I don't feel like, at least.
I wouldn't disagree. It's a people business, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's what I find interesting is you've both matched really organically, to be honest, if we think about it, because your values align. But I guess it's the same with clients, isn't it? It's having a client bank where they trust you, the values align, they're right for your business, because some clients will be great for some businesses and not so great for others. And it's about finding that right match, isn't it, all of the time? How have you found that, Dave, since you started?
Yeah, it is. I mean, one of the we've tried to build a business in a way that it has a culture that we all sign up for and we all agree with. One of the things that we did was to introduce a loyalty discount. So we, whereas most businesses, they offer new clients the best deals and they offer them the best terms, or you see new clients only written all over any of the adverts. We thought, well, hang on, we want to offer something that our loyal clients who stay with us for 10 years, they benefit from it. We want a long-term relationship. So we tried to do that. We tried to do the extra little things as well. The nice touches like birthday cards, birthday presents when they have a big birthday. So we just sent something to one of our clients who turns 90 this week, later this week. So so we just want to make clients feel that it's a really, really good relationship and that we understand that.
And that's I guess part of the job, isn't it? Massively. And Alex, you've come from obviously that basketball background where you've had to develop, I guess, relationships with teams and etc. What kind of skill sets do you think that's teed you up for from that kind of relationship or that teamwork point of view? Yeah,
exactly what you said. Really, it's just being. Through basketball, I've been blessed to live in 3 countries and 3 states at the age of 24 years old, which is not a thing that most people my age have done. Yeah. And so I've lived in and around all sorts of cultures. And then the teammates I've had through basketball have been an even more diverse range of cultures and backgrounds, whether it's, the financial, just kind of what financial background their family's coming from, or whether it's countries, like having teammates from all over. I've had,
definitely that relationship piece, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the graft side of things then, because let's be honest, it's not an easy journey to become a financial advisor. You've got exams to sit, then you're balancing getting in the office, doing that practical side. There's a lot of different things to be learning. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, to be honest with you, so one thing I really struggled in university, because in America they make you take all sorts of classes to get a psychology. You have to take like American music and all sorts. So like I had to take a math degree, several math classes and stats classes to get a psychology degree, and I really struggled to pass some of these math was never my thing. And for me, now that I'm going through these exams, and right now going through the investments and risk exam, which has got a lot of different math, a lot of different math in there. For me, it's a lot easier to understand now that I've got a purpose and I've got a defined outcome. I know what I'm working towards, and I care about the outcome of this equation. Whereas before, it was Johnny has 6 apples. I don't care. But now I've got math that I care about, and it's something that is really purposeful and meaningful. Now it starts to click more in my head, and so it's hard for me, but it's enjoyable, and like I said, because I care about the outcome more, the process is a lot more enjoyable. But actually, it's easy. It's a quicker process as well than it was to get it to resonate in my head.
And I guess you can then think about, that would fit one of Dave's clients that we spoke about last week, or actually I can then picture that in those real scenarios. Exactly. And because a lot of people do these exams just on the side of a desk rather than in an actual formal scheme. So I could definitely see the benefit of that. Are you seeing the benefit of that as a business owner, Dave?
Yeah, I think initially, so the RO1 exam is all the regulations. So that, that's, it's not what we're doing day to day, but as he gets into the other exams, I think that's come through. I mean, one of the key reasons I was keen to bring Alex in at the time I did was because we'd set out our stall, and we'd been saying to clients that when we set up the new business, that what we wanted to do was build a succession plan within the business itself. And so clients had an ongoing feeling that they're working, dealing with the same company. The moment the stats are that 50% of the advisor population are going to retire in the next 5 years or want to, but is there going to be an exit route? Is there going to be enough companies buying businesses to do that? I personally don't think that, a lot of the larger companies necessarily give clients a good outcome. And we differed on that where I'd worked previously as well about what we wanted to do with a long-term business. So Alex is the first step in that direction. That's the idea. And hopefully maybe one or more of my children might join the business. We'll see, we'll see how that goes over the years ahead. But that was a particular thing that made me take the plunge at this point and found a way to do it that worked.
It's that purpose, isn't it? That you've got the purpose in what you're working towards from a studying point of view and the culture and helping people link to what you've done before, and you've got that purpose, longevity of the business in terms of and knowing that your first person's in and potentially for the future that going to get even better. So
and also the other thing is that the different skill set as well. So in terms of Alex has done a podcast before, then run his own series of podcasts. This is my first time today, so different skill set. Plugged into technology better than I am. I'm not terrible, but there's new things as AI develops. I think there's skills that Alex will bring to the table as well.
We're getting some tips today then for the podcast.
Well, it's then a kind of mutual transaction then, isn't it? You're both learning from each other. It isn't just a case that Alex, you're the newbie and you're learning everything. Actually, Dave, you're learning things too along the way from this apprenticeship.
Definitely.
So I guess a lot of financial advisors might be listening then, and they might be thinking, right, I'm really interested in this. Maybe they've now thinking, actually an apprenticeship could work for me. Were there any challenges along the way for each of you? Or what would you, are there any bits of advice you could give?
So from my perspective, I mean, you've just got to have a good look at it properly. I mean, the problem is at the moment is I think that most advice firms and advisors don't know about the apprenticeship scheme. The ones I've talked to since we've done it, people aren't even aware that you can do that. They think an apprenticeship's for more blue collar work. Generally, that's how people.
That's the
think.
Perception, isn't it?
It is
legacy perception.
Yeah, and but it's not. And you can do these schemes. So it's not just for advisors. It's power planners. It's administrators, and you can get the funding to support that. So it's a really good way to do it.
That's really key. I didn't realise that until you said it earlier on. It's for power planners, administrators. They might not, because not everyone wants to take the advisor path, do they?
No,
quite happy being power planners and what have you. So from your perspective, have you? Forgive me. Have you got an administration set up as well? And with regards to the people in the firm at the moment,
so we've got one operations manager at the moment. So Jason, I mentioned earlier. So he covers all the administration, but also his background is IT as well. Right, so he's worked previously for JP Morgan. So whereas a lot of companies have to outsource their IT and get, an external company, we've got that covered in house as well. So that's that's also been a big benefit and a different skill set.
And he's got financial services experience then from JP Morgan.
But in the back office in the IT side, yeah.
But then I guess by keeping it all in house, you're keeping that culture safe.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was a friend of mine for many years, so I said, "Do you want to try something a little bit different to what you've done before?" We knew that we generally like-minded in our beliefs and values. So, said no strings. If you come in for a few months and don't like it, then that's fine. But it's worked really well, and he's enjoying it. That's good to set it up like that,
isn't it? It's good to set it up like that, like you said, the no strings piece, and you're well aligned anyway, being friends, because it doesn't always work, does it, when people actually end up working together?
No, it doesn't always.
When you're saying that, when I came into the office, you're like, oh, people generally say, don't go into business with your friends, but going great so far. Yeah.
And Alex, what about yourself? Have there been any challenge? Of course, you've had the challenge of finding someone to sponsor you and actually put you through the apprentice. Is that
once Dave kind of put everything in motion and did everything that he's done to help me get to this position. Skills Edge are incredibly organized. You get your notifications, emails, all this set up, so you know when all the workshops are going to be. You know what it's all going to be about. They prepare you. They tell you what the next workshop's going to be about and what chapters to read in preparation. It's all incredibly well organized. So, I can't say that anything's really been that difficult since I found Dave, if I'm honest.
That's good. That means you've had a good mentor, and it's all working really smoothly, which is great to hear. And I think, as I said earlier, that I think that will inspire others to think about maybe they're trying to unlock growth in their business, but are trying to work out how they do that, because again, it's not cheap to employ an already employed financial advisor if you're going down the employment route, and then not everyone wants to do the self-employed option, do they? So this is a really nice balance for people.
It is, and there's a massive shortage. So I'm hopefully Alex will be an advocate for that with people people his age. We need more young people coming in to fill that advice gap as people retire over the next few years. So it's a great opportunity for anyone coming in. It's a great career path. The problem is that we don't shout about it enough because we're largely a collection of small businesses. We're not going into university fairs and standing up and promoting our profession. So people coming out of university don't see it as a career path.
Really, just have a clue, do they? And have a perception of it maybe from the past. You need a degree to get into it, or whatever it might be. I know you've the benefit of having that, but you don't necessarily need to have that, do you, to come into it? So.
No, you don't. I think it's actually just a total lack of awareness that it's a thing. People tend to be sort of in their 40s when they first seek out a financial advisor quite often. So people don't even think about it and don't know it's a career path, and they talk to people who are coming in. But there's some of the bigger companies that are doing a little bit. I guess JP and Quilter, two of the ones that spring out particularly with their advisor training programs. But there's more we can all do, I think.
In terms of the apprenticeship as well, Alex, is it a mixture of virtual and face-to-face?
It's all online.
It's all online, is it?
All online. So they purchase a textbook, they send you the link, you get to just go through a textbook, and then once a week, every once in a while, it'll be once every 2 weeks, they'll do a workshop, hour and a half, go through the text, kind of hit on key points. Obviously, they don't want to make it to where they're just reviewing the entire textbook in these workshops, because then you're not incentivized to actually go and study the textbook by yourself. So you want to actually go make sure that we're going away and doing our own study as well. But
And how many people would be on a typical session, typical workshop?
Round about 10, I'd say. Maybe a couple less. But kind of 10, 15 generally. And people, so I was going to say, people would normally just chipping in with questions throughout, and generally me. But people would just raise a hand on the Teams call, ask whatever, and it's great because you get to learn almost in that classroom setting. But it's really well done, I think.
And it means that Alex has got a network of peers as well, because there's a cohort of them going through together, that he can build relationships outside of our business where we're older than him, with other people similar age who are similar
it's
similar
key, isn't
stage.
it?
And then further on, the program is 27 months in total for the trainee advisor. So after 21 months, you can start taking on clients under supervision. But along that journey, they start more on the technical side and the exams, and then gradually that builds more and more into the soft skills as well as you go. And so you're learning, questioning techniques, understanding all the soft skill stuff that you need with clients as well.
That's so thorough, 21 months of training. But I think that's brilliant because, as we said, a lot of people will do their study and then just think, right, I'm going to be a financial advisor. It's almost like and it's tricky, that, isn't it? Because actually it's the soft skills that are the tricky part. It's the exams take an element of skill, etc. But it's that kind of client nuance and dealing with them and running the business as well. That's hard in itself, isn't it?
The time period's key, though, isn't it? Over that lengthy piece of of time, it's not like you've gone through a quick sheep dip or a couple of weeks training or whatever it might be. You've gone over that period of time and you've gone through that process of bringing in the sales skills stuff later on, which is obviously very, very important. So it just means you go in more ready because I suppose you're already doing it by the time you get for the 27 months.
Yep.
And it's a win-win. So you're getting somebody that's really well qualified, and you've managed to mould in conjunction with the apprenticeship, mould to your culture. Yep. Alex, you're getting a really thorough education, and you're coming out of those sessions able to put it into real life scenarios. Yep. So I take it the learning's probably expedited versus somebody that would do an exam and then have to then in one chunk build up the soft skills. So it's been great to hear about. If you had any advice for anyone listening, would there be one bit of advice that you'd share with others in the profession? I don't know, Dave, if I start with you.
I mean, I would just say have a look at the apprenticeship scheme, particularly for people who are thinking about exiting at some point in the next 5 to 10 years, then see, don't rule out it as an option for a succession plan over that period of time. And it's not the only option. The only option isn't selling your business.
Yeah. And what about yourself, Alex?
With the networking side of it, I think for me, if you're looking at, I only know what I know so far. So if I'm looking at people, if I'm talking to people who are either looking to get into the profession or are new into the profession, it'd be networking with anybody you possibly can. So it's like before you even enter the profession, just follow anyone you can on LinkedIn who has a tie to the profession and can give you some advice. The reason I found Dave was through that solo website, and it was because I spoke to a recruiter who had nothing to do with financial planning, but he was a recruiter for like banks and insurers and the bigger financial services. And so he gave me that one little piece of advice, and that's what led to me being here. Yeah. So it's just that networking side of it. Network with anybody you possibly can. And then once you get into the profession, it's just, again, continuing to network. There's definitely a place for these smaller firms, and we need to kind of learn from each other and help each other grow and just help solidify our place within financial services so that it isn't entirely swallowed up by the big firms, and to where it's not the small advice firm isn't accessible because we're not able to keep ourselves afloat, for example, which I don't think will happen at all. But it's
it's that inclusivity piece, making financial services inclusive for all, isn't it? And all backgrounds and all business owner types,
exactly.
as well.
Exactly
There's diverse range of clients out there for us all. So that's been really, really useful.
Amazing.
I think I had no idea that apprenticeship scheme existed till I spoke to you, Dave, which is why I was keen to get you in. And Alex, it's been great to hear your journey on that as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was amazing. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.